Hello and welcome back to sKoop. I'm Ina, and along with Effie and special guest Michael, we'll be discussing what happened this week in the world of K-pop, K-drama, and more. This week, we'll be talking about comebacks, iLUV's bullying situation, how it recently escalated, Wonho and his solo debut, that's coming up very soon, and Choi Jong-hoon and what happened to the appeals to his court case. So come chill with us and let's get into the sKoop.
Somi, what you waiting for up first? Bop or flop, you guys?
That was definitely a bop, even though I didn't like it at first. The song's good. I think she did a good job putting together the song and producing the song. It's like just a really good sound for her in general. But the lyrics were definitely like rushed at some points, and it felt like, especially the English part for the chorus, was just a bit crammed in. Like it seemed like it wasn't written with the melody in mind or with the phrasing in mind, which is like my only critique of the lyric writing in this song. But other than that, very good song.
Okay, honestly, I love this sound for her. I loved it a lot better than Birthday, to be honest.
I hated that song. I didn't hate it, yeah. But I didn't think it was good for her.
It wasn't a great sound for her. The hip-hop just didn't work. But I agree with the lyrics. They were a mess. Anyway, next up, Lee Hi's long-awaited comeback, Holo. No, that's Holo. Holo, not Halo. Okay, go on.
Beyonce. But I think it was a bop. It was really good, actually. Like, I was like kind of concerned that would just be kind of generic, but no, and it was really kind of, I just don't know how to describe it. It kind of reminded me like Broadway or like theater vibes, kind of like just the style. And I thought it was a really good song in the end. It was really unique.
I really love her ballads. Her ballads are so good. With like this one, Rose and Breathe. Yeah, I agree. Like it has a good Broadway sound and I just love it.
It was a very nice slow song, to be honest. Seeing the comeback, all the wintry props and the stage, it looked very good. It looked very good, very appeasing.
Okay, next up is SSAK3. This is basically, it's like a reality show with Yoo Jae-suk, Rain, and Lee Hyori as a group. They just had their debut with the retro vibes, Beach Again. Your thoughts?
It was good for a retro song. That's all I gotta say is like it fit the bill of what I thought it was gonna be.
Agreed. I hate retro music, not gonna lie, and so I didn't really like the song, but it fit the concept. Okay, so let's move on to Seolhyun and Irene. They're starting to release, performance videos for their album. So they just released Naughty. What do you guys think?
That was a good song. I think it was a bop. Like I was genuinely surprised. I just think this concept is really good on them in general, I think. And I don't know, I just like how quirky it is and it's kind of different than Red Velvet's normal sound, if that makes sense, which makes it so much more appealing, this kind of darker concept.
I agree. It gives me like Bad Boy vibes, but a bit darker and a bit like more mature, and it's really nice. The dance was pretty interesting too. Like, it seems hard.
It just sort of reminds me of Ariana Grande's song Dangerous Woman. Like,
oh yeah.
It gives a lot of that power.
I agree, yeah. Okay, next up is Girls' Generation's own Hyo with Soyeon and Loopy, Desserts. Bop or flop?
I think it's an or. Like, it's a good song. I just wouldn't listen to it, if that makes sense.
Agreed. Okay, so I usually like club music, and this would have fit the bill, except I really do not like this song. It's a weird song, and Soyeon's part just doesn't work at all. I don't know. It just feels lumped together with different features to make it look cool. No hate to Seolhyun, but just the song. Nope. Okay, Michael?
It did seem like a little slow, especially for Seolhyun. Like, it didn't show a lot of feeling, to be honest.
I mean, yeah, it's club music, so
might be my first club song anywhere.
Okay, I don't go to clubs, I just like the music, okay? It's very EDM-like. It's very nice to jam to. I am way too young to go to clubs. Okay.
Good clarification.
So let's get started with the weekly news. So let's start off with Wonho. Wonho is actually preparing for a solo debut after his whole scandal, and still under Starship, but just under like a sub-label.
Yep, Highline.
What do you guys think about this new? Yeah, what do you guys think?
I am so happy. He's my bias in Monsta X, and I was so floored when he was like, I'm not coming back, but it's fine. He was cleared of all those accusations, so I'm happy. But in the end, I think that's going to be a really good album. I'm really excited for it, and I don't know, I just feel like it's a fresh start, and he's also signed with an American, music label back in May, so I'm interested to see what he's going to work on now that he's not in Monsta X.
I agree. I'm kind of interested in what kind of sound he's going to go for.
For sure.
Next up is kind of related to the recent AOA scandals. So AOA Seolhyun has been the subject of a recent rumor that's been circulating around the online communities about some claim that a girl group member apparently smoked at a hotel in Thailand, causing a fire alarm to go off and making all of the hotel guests evacuate the building. So it was described that the girl group member was someone who has many male fans and has a slender body and pure image.
That's every girl group member ever. Well, like 90% of them.
And the reporter claimed that this individual cursed frequently and smoked cigarettes in her private life.
And I'm sorry, but
I know. Some people began to groundlessly speculate that the girl group member is Seolhyun.
These accusations aren't harmful in my opinion. I think it's just as proof that, oh my god, idols are humans too. They breathe, they have heartbeats, they have brains, they have emotion. Come on. It's just really just an article that makes me want to roll my eyes.
It's just really sad that people are just hating on her. Yeah, because they're looking for a reason to hate more, so, you know. And, the agency's, thinking about, taking legal action and stuff, so, I don't know.
I mean, the point, I guess, my frustration with this is the fact that there's a difference between making a mistake that's truly harmful to someone else and between being human and, cursing and smoking, which are things that a lot of people do, and a lot of idols probably do behind the scenes. It's just a very bad thing to have, and it's a very toxic thing in the K-pop community to build this reputation of idols to be perfect and pure, because in reality, this is how, spreading all those false rumors is so damaging. Not because, necessarily the accusations are bad. In this case, pretty harmless, I'd say, what happened, even if it probably wasn't her in the first place. But the problem with this is that people are blowing these situations out of proportion and making these false malicious comments to the point that a small thing like this could ruin someone's career because people are just so sensitive for no reason about some of these issues.
I can sort of see their perspective a little bit because they're looking at K-pop idols as they have a lot of responsibility. They represent their country, sort of. They represent their music, and so if they make a bad representation, making mistakes or scandals like that, then they just go off, I guess.
Yeah, we talked about this in our last episode, or a previous episode or something, about how idols are human, and that yes, they are put on a pedestal, but also it should put in the fact that if an idol moves on and apologize for their mistake and moves on and improves, that is a better role model than anything else, because it shows people that people improve, can be better, and are human too.
And it'll make a healthier community in general, just in general for K-pop idols and fans alike. Because right now it's very toxic how the smallest thing will cause the internet to go off for no reason, you know? And I think that in the end, if people start being more accepting of the fact that idols are human, it might just build a better general structure for the K-pop community. And part of it is the company's responsibility. Part of it is the marketing of these groups and the marketing of these people and changing their images to be more human and more flawed, which people think is anticlimactic and think, oh, well, people like K-pop because it's so squeaky clean. But also, there's another side of that, the fact that K-pop could probably grow a lot more if the image of all these idols didn't seem so manufactured, if that makes sense. A lot of people in music want real musicians. They want people that seem authentic and real. BTS, for example.
They want raw emotions. They want raw,
yes,
pure emotions, pure human emotions. nothing a company wants you to see.
Exactly.
Yeah. So our next topic is a bit more serious. Disclaimer: there is talk about possible suicide, mental health issues, and bullying. And so if it's not your cup of tea, feel free to skip to the next section. So last week we talked about iLUV, a girl group from a very small company who recently is trying to re-debut as Budapest. One of their former members has went to social media and talked about her experiences of bullying. The agency actually denied these claims, and it's been a lot of back and forth between these two parties. So much so that Budapest is now delaying their debut, and there has been speculation about what's really happening. So, what do you guys think? It's a messy situation. That's what we came to a conclusion last time.
Well, starting on the articles that came out after this, Mina responding, basically that she basically is saying that first of all, the agency WKS-ENE previously stated that the 6 members were shocked and hurt by all the one-sided and absurd claims. That was an official statement they released last week. But then on July 22nd, a publication called Star News published an interview with Mina, in which Mina says that she has a recording of conversations with the agency in particular that are somewhat incriminating, and she says that if they go to court that she'll share it. And basically at this point the agency is starting to file a criminal complaint, and she basically says that she's confident about winning in any type of legal battle, and she still shares that she still goes to the hospital for treatment for her depression, panic disorder, and insomnia as a result of years of this excessive bullying from this alleged excessive bullying from iLUV members. Most of the things that we're going to say in this story are alleged because it is a case of he said, she said, kind of, or hearsay. So nothing really is for sure. Basically on Instagram, Mina went back again after this interview and said that the members searched through her phone, and then they were making sure basically that they had no evidence that would incriminate them through Kakao Talk. And I believe that there were also snippets from Kakao Talk, the messaging service, that were released online. And basically she was saying these are some of them contain positive things that indicate positive reactions, but basically she was saying that these were basically just small snippets of larger conversations and not how it really was anyway.
What's also interesting is that Mina also has been talking how the members have drank often, slept with men, and went to nightclubs. And what's interesting is that one of the members of the group is not even an adult yet.
I think she's underage.
Yeah, she's underage. So it's pretty interesting to see what's happening here. I don't know. It's a very messy. And then
Budapest, the new group that they were supposed to debut, is postponed basically because of these allegations. That's the other team. But
honestly, I feel like they should just get off social media and just go to court, because this is messy. Social media is just going to lead to more eyes, more judgment, when really we just need the truth. I don't know.
It's just so messy. I don't know. I feel bad for Mina in any case because she is suffering currently, and I feel like the company might be trying to protect itself in general because it is a smaller company. But either way, I hope that this gets resolved and that the truth comes out one way or another, because clearly it's hearsay right now. No one really knows the truth. People are saying all sorts of things. So yeah, it's really depressing, especially after AOA's bullying scandal. It's just really depressing to see some of these inner workings of K-pop groups and how sometimes they're more toxic than they seem.
So, on to a different set of matters. If anyone, equally as depressing. If anyone remembers the Burning Sun scandal, this relates to it. This is
and there are mentions of sexual violence and sexual assault in this, so if that's also not your cup of tea, you can skip ahead to our next segment.
So let's talk about this recent development, Choi Jung-hoon. So basically, a while ago, he got sentenced to 2 years of probation, I think. No, 1 year in prison, suspended for 2 years of probation, 80 hours in a sexual violence rehab program. So he appealed for a lighter sentence. The other side appealed for a heavier sentence. And the court dismisses both appeals and upholds the previous sentence,
believing that he got the right amount of time. And he was charged with this because he basically distributed content from intimate moments without, like, to different chat rooms without telling his partner. So, like, that is very illegal, by the way. That's the lightest way to put it. But basically, and also he also was charged with expressing intent to bribe a police officer. I mean, he basically, after he was booked for drunk driving, which is just not a good guy in general. This came along with, I believe it was at the same time as Seungri. Remember back in about a year or two ago?
Yeah.
When Seungri was, the Burning Sun stuff was, like, at its peak.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's what happened. And I think that he's very icky for trying to apply for less time, like, worse than I thought he was before. But it's a light sentence either way, I think. I just think a year is like a slap on the wrist. And I think that him trying to appeal for less is just, like, it shows no remorse, if anything. It shows that he is genuinely a person that does not care.
Yeah.
You know?
It's just sickening. Everything aside, these past few topics were and still are quite heavy topics. We just want you guys to know that those actions committed by those people are just sickening. And please don't do it. If you see something, say something. Besides this PSA, there's no better way to transition from such a serious topic about criminal actions towards our next section, which is meant to be a little more lighthearted and just a critique on the Korean entertainment industry in general. So thank you guys for listening so far, and hope you enjoy the next segment.
It's BTS time.
So now our next section is Dynamics K-pop, and our topic this time is diversity. Whether it's about race, body types, LGBT, language, etc. Just diversity. So let's just get started with the news that BTS is making a comeback with a full English song. So,
which is amazing. I'm so excited. But I mean, this is, I think, their second one after Wasted on Me. Wasted on Me was a collab with Steve Aoki, I think a couple years ago. But I think that this definitely is going to show that they're trying to diversify their music to better appeal to their audience, which is, a lot of them are English speakers. Just from the beginning, BTS has had a large audience in the US. So I'm really excited. I'm interested because,
right.
I mean, like, some K-pop groups have tried to do all English songs, which I respect. I don't necessarily have a problem with them doing all English songs as long as they're not going too far with it. Like Monsta X, some of theirs were good. And, like, I think that it's an interesting step for K-pop to take, and I'm excited to see where it goes.
And it's also thinking about Card. Like, Card and their, like, English covers.
Oh, yeah.
Card? Did they have English covers?
Yeah, they had English versions.
Yeah, like for Don't Recall.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And I think that's a lot of because BM is American,
yeah,
isn't he?
He is.
So he speaks, so he can write lyrics and stuff.
Right.
And
honestly, I'm fine with it as long as they retain the K-pop sound. Because, you know, that's why we're listening to K-pop in the first place. It's unique sound. So, I don't know. I'm good. But yeah, diversity. Diversity is a huge topic in K-pop, especially with there's not that much diversity. I mean, let's think about
selective diversity.
Selective diversity, yeah. A lot of K-pop idols are Asian. Most of them are Korean. There has been Japanese idols, Thai, maybe Vietnamese.
Well, nowadays, I wouldn't even say most of them. I would say almost 60%, which is straying close to, or 70%. But I feel like nowadays, it's kind of more normal to have groups with, like, Japanese members and Chinese.
Chinese.
Some Chinese members, Thai members. like, I feel like it's becoming more mainstream, but I feel like other types of diversity are just like shunned.
I think those type of diversities are there because they speak the language and so that they can get those fans. Because I know,
Huh?
what? It's because they can speak the language, right? And they can speak their native language and get those fans. Like Lay from EXO, he's really popular
Yeah.
in China. And yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
No, I see what you mean. It took me a minute to register what you're saying. But my only problem with this is that with, like, that argument makes sense that they're trying to get people that speak that language to garner more fan bases. But my other problem with this is that they're marketing things as being diverse without being diverse. And I think that a lot of K-pop fans that are of different races would appreciate to see representation, and that would allow K-pop to grow a lot more. But the problem is, whenever we have diversity that's outside of Asia, it's always white diversity. It's always
Half.
light-skinned Indian diversity,
Yeah.
like very light-skinned colorism. And you know, like that show UHSN, I'm not sure if you've all heard of it, but they bought a bunch of like foreign exchange students to Korea to become a K-pop group. Most of those girls were white, Asian, and then they had, I think, a light-skinned Indian girl, and that was about their diversity, which is fine, but I mean, it's not fine. Let's be very honest, it's not fine. If you're going to market a show as being global, you need global representation and people that genuinely represent all different types of races.
Thank you for watching our highlights version of our episode number 4. Make sure to check out the full episode where we're going to talk more into the diversity topic and a few other news and comebacks. We'll include the links below in the description, and we are on Spotify and Google Podcasts and a bunch of other podcast platforms. Make sure to subscribe to this channel to catch out Yina's other covers and group covers for Cherry Cola, as well as any possible highlights we'll have in the future. So thank you again for watching, and make sure to look forward to next week for our next Inside Scoop.